Welcome to New Life Live, the premier place to receive free advice from Christian psychologists and counselors for the mental, emotional, relational, and spiritual challenges you face. Since 1988, we've offered compassionate responses that combine God's truth with proven psychological principles to guide you toward healing. Our phone lines are open. Call us now at 1-800-229-3000.
So the week may have started on a low note for you, but look, you've made it to Friday. Hi there, I'm Brian Perez, joined by LMFT times 2 today. Licensed marriage and family therapists Marc Cameron and 𝙇𝙑𝙀 are going to help you end your week and your month on a good note. JJ, what do you want to share with our New Life community today?
Well, I wanted to talk about the good that isn't the best. And it's so often that's what trips me up in my life. It's not so much the stuff that's obviously bad, although that can sometimes trip me up too, if I'm honest. But it's most of the time it's the good that isn't the best. So I'll give you an example. A couple of weeks ago, I needed to work on my lawnmower. It would start and then it would die within a few seconds. And so I was replacing the carburetor and I was replacing the air filters. And then I realized that the drive belt was loose. And so I'm replacing the drive. So I'm doing all this stuff. And my wife comes home. I think it was like on a Thursday night. She comes home from work and she comes through the garage and I'm working on the lawnmower in the garage. And so as she's passing through, I'm like, oh, hey, do you want to go for a walk tonight? Yeah, that'd be great. Well, then I got locked in on the project and I'm working on the lawnmower, working on the lawnmower. And finally, about 9 o'clock, I walk into the house and I say, okay, hey, do you want to go for a walk? Well, I already know it's too late. I've waited too long. And because I know my wife's schedule and I know that she goes to bed early. And so starting a walk at 9 o'clock is not going to happen. Now, was it wrong? Was it bad for me to work on the lawnmower? No, it was good. That was, instead of going and buying a new lawnmower for $300, $400, I'm fixing the lawnmower for less than $30. That's a good thing. Mm-hmm. But I wasn't going to mow the next day. Like this wasn't an urgent thing that had to happen that night. But I let myself get distracted by something good instead of attending to something that was the best, which would have been pausing and talking to my wife. And, I can come back to this. Let's go for a walk now. And I think there's so many times in our lives where that's what happens is we get caught up in something that is okay, it's good, it's fine to do, but it distracts me from the thing that I'm called to do. I'm distracted from the thing that's the best for me. And that night, the best thing for me to do would have been to put the tools down and say, yeah, let me get cleaned up and let's go for a walk in a few minutes, right? Mm-hmm. And so, how often do we let that? How often do we let the not the evil, not the bad things, but just the good things keep us from doing what God's called us to do? Yeah. Mark?
Yeah, no, that's really good. That's something that I was actually thinking about this weekend, and I tend to get stuck, hyper-focused on something. My wife says I'm like a prairie dog. I go into my prairie dog hole, and then I don't come out again, and then I pop out, And like you said, JJ, when it's like, well, then, the moment's gone, the opportunity's gone. I actually sent a text message to my daughter this week saying, recognizing that and saying you're more important to me than, working on whatever the project is that I'm working on. So I'm going to try and do better to close my laptop or whatever it is, turn the TV off when you come to talk to me. And that while it's my responsibility to figure that out, you have my permission to call me out on it too. So that's really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and again, it's just trying to figure out what it is that's good and what's best. I mean, there's nothing wrong with sending emails, right. But if all that work that you're bringing home from the office or something, if that's distracting from your time with kids or with your spouse, then we need to find that right balance and figure out what is best. And in this case, cultivating relationships, spending time with loved ones, definitely more important. So we're going to go to the phones when we come back here on New Life Live. Thanks so much for joining us today. If you just found out about it and you're wondering, who are these people? Well, I'm Brian Perez. This is Marc Cameron. We've also got 𝙇𝙑𝙀 here, and you can find out all about us on our website, newlife.com. And we've got some calls coming up.
I went to Every Man's Battle in 2012. My sexual integrity was not what it should have been. I sought out affairs, whether physical or emotional. Until I came to Every Man's Battle, I didn't understand that would never fill that void.
Every day, men struggle with sexual integrity. Impure thoughts, strip clubs, affairs, pornography.
The shame and guilt was overwhelming.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Intensive.
You will discover what the true root of your pain is, and you will discover how to overcome.
You don't have to struggle any longer. Get help in Dallas, Texas, November 7th through the 9th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to register or to find out more. 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Enter the code NLL for a discount.
Every Man's Battle saved my life.
1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
And let's go to Sacramento, where Sean listens to the New Life Live podcast, and he decided to call in today. Thanks, Sean, for doing that. How can we help you?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate. I'm a Club New Life supporter. I appreciate your ministry so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm calling today about my 22-year-old son, who I'm fairly well convinced has a gambling addiction, and wondering what I should do, how to respond, how to support him.
How do you know he has a gambling addiction?
Detail.
What's happened?
He and his twin sister live together. They've been living together since January, and he has, for various reasons that he's given us, not been able to pay his share of the rent. And there are a few times when he admitted that he lost the money gambling, and he basically sports betting, doing online sports betting. And he told his sister very recently that that's been the reason he's been short every single month on rent.
Wow.
So who's covering the balance of the rent then, Sean?
At first I was. He actually lost a job, and then he had a health issue, and then I told him I was no longer going to support him, and his sister has been making up the difference, which has been very frustrating for her.
Yeah.
Yeah. And did they move in?
Been one of the.
Go ahead.
Yes, they live together. I got married. We married in May, and so when my fiance and my wife and I got engaged, I let them know, because they were living with me, that they would need to find a place, which they did, but and they didn't pay rent or anything. When they were living with me, they were basically living with me free, since they were in their mid-teens.
And so does he have a job now, your son?
He does. He has a part-time job, but he works a lot of hours.
Okay. And you're saying, how should you respond? And so tell us a little bit more about what do you mean by that? Because they're living independently from you. You're not helping them out any longer. What do you mean, how should you respond?
As their father should, there be some type of intervention. My daughter calls me regularly, very frustrated. I think she's doing well overall. She recently bought a car. She's been on her job for quite a while.
Yeah, because you're wondering, it's like you're saying, I don't want to help my son necessarily because he's got to learn how to get out of this. But in this case, it's affecting his sister, who's your daughter.
Yes, and I don't want to give him money. I'm not looking for that as a solution or helping with rent. But always been a challenge in the situation, wondering what kind of consequences to give him. She is, their lease expires at the end of this year. She is looking for another roommate, but has not informed him of that. So part of it is wondering about the timing of that. Wondering about, are there resources I should share with them? He tends to be avoidant, which he got from me. I tend to be an avoider, conflict avoidant, but I've confronted him a few times about it. He basically will get to a point where he'll walk out of the room.
Yeah, I mean, here's what I would say to you, Sean, is I would say invite your son into a conversation, and I would do the comfort circle with him, if you're familiar with the comfort circle, which Mylan and Kay talk about in their book, Mylan and Kay Yerkovich, How We Love. And the comfort circle is a structured conversation where there's a clear listener and a clear speaker role. And I think what I would do is I would invite your son into a conversation, maybe invite him for lunch or something like that, and just express your concern, express your love and your concern for him. Hey, I love you. I care about you. I wanted to talk to you about something specific. I have a concern about something. And I just wanted to open up the floor and let you know that you're loved by me, and that if you're struggling with something, I'm here for you to listen and to see what I can do to support you toward growth and healing. And my concern is this gambling problem that you may have. Tell me more about that. Do you think that this is an issue? And then invite him to become the speaker. And I don't know what his response is going to be in that, but this is how you model, adult, healthy adult interactions. And then you might also then just take responsibility, rather than confronting him about his avoidance, owning your avoidance and how that has impacted him. And again, you can do that in the comfort circle way by talking about, how you've been and how that may have impacted him, and said, is that true? Do you think this has negatively impacted you? And then, apologizing for how that has impacted him in a negative way. I think the second conversation is really with your daughter, to say, well, babe, what are you going to do about this? I totally get it. It sounds like a really difficult situation. I understand that you want to have somebody who can be more reliable about it. But that's part that he's got a separate relationship with his sister, and she's got to learn how to manage that. They both got to learn how to manage that together, but you can equally support her in that way, on the back end of it. Yeah. What do you think about that?
That sounds good. I can definitely do that. I was wondering about to what extent, as I said, she's expecting to find another roommate when their lease expires at the end of this year. She's not sure how he will respond to that, and wondering when she should inform him of that. Should we do that as a family, or should that be a one-on-one conversation?
Well, I think if she's... go ahead. Sorry, I think if she's concerned that his reaction is going to be explosive, then maybe you can offer to support her in that way. But I would let him know as soon as possible, so that he can begin planning. Yep. I mean,
we're only 2 months away from the end of the year.
Yeah, I'll let JJ jump in here, but the last thing I think that I'll say before JJ jumps in is that consequences are a great teacher for us, and consequences are always present for us, no matter what. Good consequences or bad consequences for our actions. And so him being allowed to, you not rescuing him and him having to deal with the consequences of his actions is what will become a teacher here.
Yeah. JJ?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Definitely agree, Mark. Providing a safe space, if in fact she worries that his reaction is going to be explosive in some way, creating a safe space for that conversation. But as soon as possible, because he needs to find other arrangements for housing. We've got 2 months until the end of the year. So, but that is, just as you said, it's a consequence of his choices. He has not been responsible with his finances in order to pay his rent on time, pay the full amount on time. So yeah, if I'm rooming with someone and I repeatedly don't come up with my end of the rent, or I repeatedly don't clean up after myself, or I repeatedly make loud noises when other people are trying to sleep or whatever, of course, the consequence is I'm not going to be staying there anymore. And that's the situation that he faces. And that may be the wake-up call that he needs, both the housing situation as well as the relational damage that he's creating, because there's a broken trust between him and his sister, that he entered into an agreement with her. We're gonna live together, have this apartment or house or whatever. We're gonna live together, and we're each gonna pay our fair share. And then I don't follow through. Now I've broken trust with you, and he's got to find a way to make that repair. Once you break trust, I say this all the time at the Every Man's Battle workshop. Once I break trust, I don't go back to neutral as someone I don't know if I can trust. I'm now someone I know I can't trust. I'm now someone I can't trust, that you can't trust me. And so because of that, I've got to do a lot of work to repair that broken trust. And that's really your role as a father, is not to rescue him financially, but to come alongside him. And just like Mark said, firmly establish your love for him, your acceptance of him as a person, but also calling him to make those repairs. That as a man, his responsibility is to step forward and say, I broke this. It's my fault. I'm sorry. And here's what I'm going to do to repair what I've broken with you.
Mm-hmm. Mark? Yeah, and he is going to need support in this too, because I mean, if he's got a gambling addiction, he's going to need help getting out of that, and then also help understanding, what is this gambling addiction covering up in his life? Why is he doing this? What emotional pain or what void is this filling? But it does need to start with the accountability piece first. I mean, both can happen at the same time, but he needs to take accountability before you can truly support him. Otherwise, it ends up being either feeling like a lecture or it becomes a rescue situation.
So just for calling in today, Sean, we're going to send you a copy of the book we were talking about, How We Love, and this will also benefit you and your new wife. You said you guys are newlyweds, so this will help you with that, and congratulations on your new marriage. We would love to hear from your son, too. Maybe he can call us next week, and we can help him solve this issue about this gambling addiction that he's got. So give him our number here at New Life Live. Speaking of newlyweds, we've got the Intimacy and Marriage Intensive coming up next year. Now, you're already making plans for Thanksgiving and Christmas and all the other holidays, holiday parties, etc. But this is one you don't want to forget, guys especially, because it's Valentine's Day weekend. Imagine telling your wife, we're going to go to Orange County for this weekend intensive to help strengthen our marriage. And it's for anybody, not just newlyweds and oldie weds or recently weds, or it's even for the about to be weds. If you've already popped the question and you're engaged, this would be a great time for you to be together. It's the weekend of Valentine's Day in Orange County, California, and roommates are also welcome. Now, let me explain what I mean by that. I don't mean people living together. I'm talking about people who maybe have been married for years and years and years, and they're just not speaking together anymore. Maybe they're not even roommates sharing a bedroom. Maybe they, are in different parts of the house, and so they might be living in separate spaces. JJ West, what can people expect when they attend Intimacy and Marriage?
Well, it really is this intensive. It's a weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and yet in just a short amount of time, it's like we're cramming about 3 to 6 months of therapy into that short window of time. Here's why. Number one, it's moving away from all the distractions of life, and we're putting it all into large group session, small group session, large group session, small group session. So we're getting away from the distractions, and then we're intensely talking about things that most couples avoid. They let busyness keep them from having these conversations. They let their own broken relationship style keep them from having these difficult conversations. But we're bringing them front and center. And we've talked about on this show and previous shows as well, we talk about the book, How We Love. And that's one of the main materials that we use at the workshop to help couples identify their relationship style, their relationship pattern, and how to move to becoming what's called a secure connector. But it takes work, and it's amazing. We see it every single time we do the Intimacy and Marriage workshop. We see couples who came in thinking that they were on the brink of divorce or feeling, like you said, like roommates, and God breaks something loose in their relationship that allows them to move toward trust, that allows them to move toward a deeper understanding of one another and of themselves.
Mark?
Yeah, and what we're going over at Intimacy and Marriage is 80 years of attachment research. Everybody has an attachment style. We're helping them understand what is your attachment style. We all have one. And when two people get married, it's a collision of two different attachment styles, and it produces a very predictable core pattern. So this is why it's so successful. It helps so many people because it's something that we are all impacted by. but we're just revealing to them what's been going on for years and years and years, and then showing them the way how to solve it.
And what are the attachment styles again?
An avoider, a pleaser, a vacillator, which is somebody who goes back and forth between what they want, and then there can be somebody who's a controlling person or a victim, and those two styles really come from an abusive background.
So which one are you? Which one is your spouse? Yeah, you need the Intimacy and Marriage Intensive. It's coming up February 13th in Orange County, California. The whole weekend, Friday through Sunday. You can find out more about it on our website, newlife.com. Whether you've been married for decades or just days, or maybe you're about to get married, we would love to see you there, newlife.com. And if you think maybe this isn't for you, you've got to take the quiz. We've got a quiz on our website. I believe it's newlife.com/IIM, where you can take the quiz and find out more. All right, more calls coming up. Darlene, we'll talk to you next.
So many times we get calls about loss and grief, and it's one of life's most profound challenges. It affects our mind, our body, and our spirit in deep and lasting ways. Grief is something that we will all experience, but we experience it differently. I want to invite you to our upcoming webinar, Coping with Loss, a grief webinar. Our webinar is 90 minutes. We are going to have Laura Mange-McDonald present, and whether you're grieving the death of a loved one or walking through another kind of loss, this session offers biblical insight, emotional support, and practical tools to help you move forward.
The Coping with Loss Grief webinar is Thursday evening, November 13th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go online to newlife.com. Discover God's plan for healing and take the next step towards peace, hope, and wholeness. 1-800-639-5433. Club New Life changes lives.
I think I go way back to listening to New Life, learning so much from it, and then becoming a Club New Life member.
Club New Life is a monthly giving family that helps New Life Ministries provide Christ-centered hope and counseling resources to thousands of people.
You know, I'm so thankful because, you know why I keep giving? Because I keep learning, and I'm so thankful for all the lives that you touch every day and the people's lives. So when I get to still hear the radio show, it's just so encouraging to my heart.
When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, you'll make a difference in the lives of individuals and families with godly counsel and connection to help.
And you know one reason I give? Because I feel like sometimes I'm hiding behind a counselor's couch listening to all this great information and not paying, so my guilt of this great advice is alleviated by being a Club New Life member.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. And together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Thanks to generous friends of this ministry, $475,000 is waiting to be matched dollar for dollar. When you give, you're helping two people walk toward healing. So much disunity and division in the world today, but I think we can all agree that God's counsel is needed more than ever in dark places. Make your gift go twice as far by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE or give at newlife.com/match. Let's go to the phones now. Here is Darlene, who listens to us on Sirius XM, channel 131 in Atlanta, Georgia. Welcome, Darlene, to New Life Live.
Thank you. I just have a question. I do live in Georgia. I've been married for 35 plus years, and I have recently just found out my husband started acting strange a couple months ago. And I found out by mistake that he went and got his own little cell phone that I knew nothing about. And women online were sending him nude pictures, and then he turned around and sent them some of him. Can I get that Every Man's Battle by web seminar?
JJ?
Yeah, that's a great question, Darlene. And first, I'm just so sorry that you're facing this. I mean, it's really painful to walk through this. So the short answer is yes, it is something that we do offer online. We don't offer it in a webinar form where it's like an hour long, but we offer it in a one-day format. So it's all day long. I believe we have at least 1 or 2 scheduled for next year in the online format. We don't offer it all the time online. Most of them are in person, but there is that availability. And so you, or in this case, I would recommend your husband to call New Life, 1-800-NEW LIFE, and speak to one of the representatives there to find out when the next Every Man's Battle online workshop is being held, and what is the process to sign up and attend that. So it is available online, and it's good. It's a great alternative. Our preference is for people to attend in person simply because of the relationships that you're building with the people in your small group. You can still do that in the online format, but there's something about being face to face and kneecap to kneecap with other guys and sharing your stories that just makes it much more palpable in terms of the healing and the change that takes place. But certainly we do offer that because we know that there's some people who physically cannot travel or financially can't afford to attend an in-person workshop, though we do have scholarships available. And then third, there are some times where it's a young person who's still living at home and their parents aren't comfortable with them going to a workshop in another city and staying in a hotel. And so we offer that as well for that purpose.
Darlene, I did want to ask you, what is the reason why you would prefer for him to attend it online instead of in person?
Well, because I don't know when the nearest one would be for us. Like I said, we live in Georgia, and I just feel like it was something that he could really use. He keeps telling me he's sorry, it won't happen again. And it happened twice within 4 weeks, and I said, this is it. I can't deal with this. And I said, you can go live with your mom or whatever, but I know for a fact I cannot keep beating myself up. My self-esteem has bottomed.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I don't trust anything he says. I don't trust anything he does. And he keeps saying, you got to give me... No, I don't have to give you a chance. You know, we've been together for 35 plus years, and this is the thanks that I got.
Yeah, you're right. You can't trust what he says for his sake. And you've already given him a chance, and it sounds like he's broken your trust again. So you're right. He needs to build that back up again. And so I noticed that you're calling about this. And so, yeah, he says he's sorry, but is he more sorry that he got caught, or is he actually doing something about his addiction?
Right.
What efforts have you seen from him, Darlene?
Well, he has really tried to take me on dates and cook meals for me and do things that I want to do, where he normally would just work 7 days a week, don't worry about me. And
well, that's good in terms of, you know, showing you that you're important. But what's he doing about addressing this addiction? This is an addiction. This is serious, what he's done, and this is what you know about. There may be more that you don't know about. He went and got a cell phone in secret. He received naked pictures. He sent naked pictures. Right. What's he doing to deal with this addiction?
I've not asked him really, if you want to know the truth about it. Maybe, you know, because I told him, I said, maybe you need psychological help. Maybe you got problems.
Now, for one thing, does he still have that secret phone?
Oh, no.
Okay.
He sure does not.
Well, he doesn't have that secret phone, but we don't know about any other secret phones.
That doesn't mean that I can't still access those same things through other means. That's correct. Yeah, so to your point, Mark, it's really Darlene's husband's responsibility to rebuild trust with her by doing the things that he says he's going to do, and by addressing this real issue, which, yes, you could wait until the next one is online, but you could also say, you know what, this is important enough, I'm going to sign up. You know, we've got one coming up in Dallas next, I think it's next week. Yeah. And then we've got another one in DC the first weekend in December, which is close enough that he could get to from Atlanta. And so I would recommend that if he's serious about healing, he needs to start showing you by taking action to address the issues that he's brought into your relationship.
Yeah, Darlene, stay on the phone because we've got some more questions for you when we come back here on New Life Live.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found Life Recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Do you need help for life's hard situations?
My husband recently said he wanted a divorce.
I'm confused on what I should do.
I have an eating disorder.
New Life Live answers your questions on relationships, grief, addiction, trauma, anxiety, and much more, all from a biblical perspective with our panel of professional counselors and psychologists.
I learn a lot from your program.
You help so many people.
I appreciate your ministry.
Whether you listen or watch, there are so many ways to connect with us to ask our panel of counselors a question. Call us Monday through Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific at 1-800-229-3000 to ask your question on New Life Live. Or go to newlife.com/radio for other ways to get your question answered.
I'm trying to find help.
I just want to know how to set boundaries.
If it's a sin, what am I supposed to do?
Need a therapist or a coach, a resource or an intensive? Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Jade in Dallas, Texas, we're going to get to you after we continue our conversation with Darlene. So if you could just stay on the phone a little bit longer. Darlene, are you still there?
I am.
So glad you held. So yeah, the Every Man's Battle Intensive is next weekend in Dallas, Texas, and the same weekend in Washington, D.C., we're hosting an intensive called Restore Healing After Betrayal. And it's for women just like you who are in this situation. They've been betrayed by their husband. In this case, it's a 35-year marriage, and all this is coming up. He may not have ever physically betrayed you, but I mean, he's doing all this stuff on TikTok, exchanging photos with other women. Who knows? Maybe money's even been exchanged. You don't know what's going on. So yes, your husband should attend Every Man's Battle, but we think you should attend Restore, and it's coming up next weekend as well. What do you think?
That's a short notice for me because the way I work and everything.
Yeah. Mark?
Yeah, Darlene, are you in therapy, couples therapy, individual therapy?
Well, I just signed up for therapy last week,
Okay.
and I'm going to see how it goes because I am really, really having a hard time, and I don't want nobody's pity, but it has rocked my world.
Yeah. And is he in therapy?
Well, he said he would go if I wanted him to, and I was like, well, that's your choice.
Yeah.
I have to go take care of me after you've broken me in 6 million pieces.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
I'm
right.
so sorry. And you're right. It is his choice, but you also get to set a boundary to say, hey, if we're going to be able to continue in this relationship in a trustful way, I need you to go. It's totally up to you whether you do go or you don't. You can tell people who are going to recover from these types of betrayals, because there's people who are sorry for being caught, and then there's people who are sorry for devastatingly hurting the other person, and it's the people in the second category those are the ones that there's hope for them to, for the relationship to heal, because those folks, they take the lead in their own recovery. They don't say, oh, well, if you want me to go, I guess I'll go. They take the lead. They know something's wrong and they address it. They don't expect you to trust them before they rebuild the trust. So they don't say, oh, well, just give me another chance. They are willing and eager to give a full disclosure because they know that is what you need. They need everything. They know that everything needs to be out in the open. You need to know what it is that you're forgiving in order to be able to forgive. And then they're also willing to sit with you in your pain without going to their place of shame. They can sit with you in your pain and in your anger. When somebody is willing to do that, then there is a lot of hope for recovery in these situations. But when someone's not willing to do that, oftentimes the betrayed person ends up feeling like they're doing most of the work. And so these, I would recommend these to be requirements for you to be able to repair and restore your relationship. Because otherwise, that's the wound of betrayal. If something bad happens to you and you don't know about it, you won't be able to trust if he doesn't show this level of accountability, because, anything could be happening behind your back.
Right. Which is what was happening behind her back, right?
Exactly.
You thought everything was good. You thought everything was fine. And he was telling you everything is good and fine when it wasn't. And so now he's saying, okay, before I was lying to you, but now I'm telling you the truth. Just believe me. That's not enough. I have to do the work to rebuild trust with you. And it's just like Mark said, it has to start with me being accountable for my actions, and starts with me doing a full disclosure, me telling you everything, not some of the things, not just the stuff that you found when you found the phone, but everything that I've done, everything that every way that I've broken trust with you. I have to do a full disclosure. And when I do a full disclosure, it's important that I'm not minimizing. I'm not making light of what it was that I did. Oh, it's not that big a deal. I didn't actually have an affair with anyone. I'm not blame shifting. Well, I only did that because you're not affectionate with me, right? I have to make sure that I'm not doing those things. And that's why. Yeah. Well, listen, this isn't my first rodeo either, right? Like I've talked with a lot of couples that have gone through this. And so I would recommend that the two of you work with a therapist who has experience walking couples through disclosure, what we call an impact statement, which is for you to then share with him the ways in which his not only his sexual acting out, but also his deception has impacted you. And then for him to then follow up with an amends letter stating, here's what I am doing and what I will do in order to rebuild trust, to repair what I've broken. And if he's willing to do that, then there is, like Mark said, there's great hope in restoration. But if he's not, if he pushes back on that, no, it was just a one-time thing. You're making this too big a deal out of this. Why can't we just move on? Well, that's not the sign of a repentant heart. That's the sign of someone who, as Mark said, feels bad that he got caught. But if he had never caught him, he wouldn't have changed, because he's not grieving the ways that his choices impacted you.
Yeah, and what I would add to that is a full therapeutic disclosure doesn't just start with how he's betrayed you. It goes back to the origins of the problem.
Correct.
Right? Where did he first start looking at pornography? Maybe that was way back when he was 16 years old. That's, even though that wasn't a betrayal to you, that was the beginnings of the problem. And in order to be able to fix something, you have to know how it's, where it came from, what's driving this behavior. It's not, yes, sobriety is what we need to do, but we need to understand what caused the behavior in the first place, so that we don't just engage in something else because we get rid of this addiction and now we add a different addiction into there.
Yeah. Right. Well, can I add one more thing?
Yes, of course.
So, Darlene, if you can't make the Restore workshop that's coming up because it's such short notice, we offer it at least twice a year, every single year. And so get online or call New Life to find out when the next one is scheduled, and make plans now to attend that one, because it's going to be important for your own healing.
We're also going to send you a copy of the book Intimate Deception from our friend Dr. Sherry. It's available in the newlife.com store, but we're going to send you a copy just for calling in today, Darlene from Atlanta, Georgia. Jade, we're going to get to you. I promise, don't hang up, but I just have a really quick follow-up question, and this might be guys who are thinking maybe they're kind of dabbling in this whole TikTok thing or OnlyFans or one of these things. And okay, so they're thinking, all right, so Darlene's husband, he got rid of the phone. He's trying to make amends by cooking dinner for his wife or taking her out on dates. Doesn't that enough show that he's trying to make amends to her, that maybe his willpower will be enough to keep him away from it, and so that he and Darlene can live happily ever after for the rest of their lives? What would you guys say?
Well, his willpower wasn't enough to keep him from dabbling in it to begin with. And, most of us, we would like to think that, I'm strong enough, I can do this, I can handle this, but we can't. And we need help. And that's one of the, that's like the primary stuff that we talk about in 12-step groups, is that I have to acknowledge that my life is out of control and unmanageable. In other words, I cannot fix my broken self with my broken self. If all I have in my toolbox is a broken hammer and I have to repair my broken hammer, I'm out of luck. There's nothing I can do. And so yeah, willpower alone is not going to be enough, because willpower wasn't sufficient to begin with.
Yeah.
What I need is God's power. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was going to say that exact thing. And most people, this is unwanted for them. Yes, they find a measure of pleasure in doing that, but most people, especially Christian men, they know that it's wrong and it's impacting intimacy with their spouse, and so they don't want to do this. But it's willpower alone isn't enough. Now, yes, taking his wife on dates and doing the dishes and those kinds of things, right? Those are helpful, but that's not actually addressing the addiction that's going on. And there's a difference between change and transformation. Okay? Traffic lights change. They change from red to yellow to green, and then they change back again, right? But trees grow, and when trees grow, when plants grow, they transform, they become something new. They don't go back to the old way of being. And so people can make these changes, but is there really transformation happening in the heart? When transformation happens in the heart, then all of these other things are a byproduct of it. But true repentance can't be faked. Yeah. Because an accountability and a remorse and an amends comes with that.
So much good information on today's episode of New Life Live. I'm so glad that we archive all of our episodes, so make sure you go listen again. Maybe share it with a friend of yours. We're on YouTube and Facebook and Spotify, and subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. Click that little bell icon. You'll get notified every time we do something live. Jade, you are next on New Life Live.
I was stuck. I was so stuck. 27 years married. My husband addicted to pornography for the majority of our marriage. I was very isolated and didn't really know which way to turn.
If you've been affected by betrayal, an emotional or physical affair, or pornography, Restore Intensive will equip you with support and tools to help you through.
When two people want to do their part, we can be restored. But if they don't, we can still be restored. We are not stuck because someone else made a decision. That God lets us weigh in on how we want to walk out our lives. Our wellness does not hinge on another person's decision.
The Restore Intensive is coming to Washington, D.C. November 7th to the 9th. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50.
You guys helped me figure out what was going on.
1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL. For over 35 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addiction, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
I found a counselor through New Life Ministries, and it's just been outstanding.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first steps toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door for a better tomorrow.
To get someone that's competent, that's good at what they do, it's been like day and night compared to what I've had before.
Call 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Where are my fellow Club New Life members? I see you, and I know where you're going to be tomorrow. We will all be online for the quarterly Club New Life meeting on Zoom. It starts at 8 o'clock Pacific time. If you haven't registered yet, you better do it today so that you'll get the link and hear from this guy, Marc Cameron, who will be sharing on...
What? I better prepare for this.
Oh,
no, just kidding. Forgiveness and repair.
Yes.
And apologies.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's repair in relationships.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Not car repair.
Not home repair.
Or
No,
lawnmower repair.
You
That
need-
would be
you
JJ's
need- You
segment.
need a different
Yeah.
guy for that.
Yes.
You need JJ.
Yes. Register at newlife.com or call one of our friendly MSRs, Ministry Service Representatives, at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And if you're thinking, I love clubs. How do I join Club New Life? Well, we'd love for you to join our group of monthly ministry supporters. There are so many ways we say thank you to, like these quarterly Zoom calls and getting to you as soon as possible when you call in to New Life Live. A whole lot more, too. Get started at newlife.com or by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And now... finally, Jade in Dallas, Texas. Man, so sorry that you held for so long, but how can we help you today?
Hi, thanks for taking my call. And I'm just excited about that relationship thing that you just said. But I have a friend, and I'd rather not say how I know this person, but she has a son who is in his 40s, and they're having like a relationship issue, and now she's estranged, and it's mainly because of his political views, her political views. She's a conservative, he's not, and she really, really loves her son, and now he's not contacting her. So she's contacted him a couple of times, but he will not return her call. So she was just kind of asking, like, where do I start? What steps do I take? How do I get to restore this relationship? So I was just trying to help her out and just figure out how do we, get this relationship restored. She's a Christian, and just because they're having different political views, it's just caused him not to call.
And you say that she reaches out to him and not to discuss politics, just to say, hey, how are you? Happy birthday, whatever. And
he hasn't responded at all.
All right. JJ, we'll start with you.
Yeah, well, so often what happens is it's not so much about the fact that they have different political views, but how those political views have been expressed. The ways in which we've talked about the differences, that's often what drives relationships apart. And unfortunately, we are in an age where there is this kind of cancel culture where if you disagree with me, then I'm just going to shut you out. I'm not going to listen to what you say. I'm not going to engage with you any further. And it's unfortunate because it is, your friend is not alone in this. There's lots of families where parents and children or grandparents and children are not speaking to one another because of this way of handling differences. And so what I recommend to your friend would be that you start with asking questions that put the focus on you rather than the other person. And so she might ask her son, I've noticed that I've reached out to you a few times and you haven't responded. Is there something that I have said or done that has caused you to feel unsafe with me? I want to make repairs. If I've broken something, if I've hurt you in some way, I want to be able to make repairs. To be able to open the floor to discussion around, if I have communicated my political views or religious views or whatever to you in a way that caused you to feel uncomfortable or unsafe or not listened to, I want to make that right. But I have to start with me. I can't start with, hey, I don't like the way you're not answering me, or I don't like the way you have cut me out, or I don't like the way you express your political views. But instead, I'm starting with me. I'm humbling myself to say, I recognize that I may have done something or not done something that has caused you to not feel loved and safe with me, and I want to fix that if that's the case.
But what if Son's response is something that's so extreme, like he says, well, if you want to be back in relationship with me, you're going to have to see things my way. You're going to have to stop. You're going to have to stop supporting that other party and that other administration, whatever. What if it's that rigid? What would you say, Mark?
Well, I totally agree with JJ on this. That this is much bigger than politics, and sadly, things are so polarized right now. It's almost like if you say I support this party, then you agree with everything that they agree with. But I
hate everything the other party supports. Yeah.
Exactly. And I've seen what you are actually saying here. I have seen that in families who I've done therapy with, where one person says, well, in order to restore a relationship, you have to see everything my way. But that's unrealistic because, one, people's minds change. So if I have to see everything your way, then every time your mind changes on something, then I got to change my mind too, right? We're not individual then. And the other person wouldn't expect that the same either. They wouldn't expect you to then demand that of them, or anyone else to demand that. I mean, we all have something called inalienable rights, meaning rights that can't be taken away from us, and rights we can't give away. You can't take away someone's right to form an independent thought, and neither can they give that away. But we also don't have to, make our lives and the content of our lives, all about politics. And sometimes, and some people are doing that right now. Everything is about politics for them. And can you say to someone, especially someone who's a family member who's important in your life, is, hey, how can we have a relationship outside of politics? Can we talk about who you are as a person, what you're passionate about, the things that you love, things that we can do together to enjoy one another and spend time with one another? Let's start there. And maybe as we build our relationship up, if politics really it's so important to you, and to be able to discuss it, maybe we can bring that in after we build our relationship up. And for some people, they might be able to do that. And for others, it might just be like, let's live here. It's not living out of reality. It's actually living in relationship, because administrations will change.
Yeah.
Politics change, but God remains the same, and how we relate with one another, that remains the same.
Yeah. JJ?
Agree wholeheartedly. Yeah, it's our relationship has to supersede, has to be bigger than whatever it is that's dividing us, whether that's politics, religious views, parenting issues, whatever. Like we have to find that, right? And we have to talk about, we have to name it. We have to say, my love for you transcends our political views, or my love for you transcends how you're parenting versus how I parented, or whatever the difference is. That my core relationship with you is not based on you agreeing with me. My core relationship is based on the fact that I love you because we're related, because I choose to love you. And like Mark said, we can work on the differences later. We have to start with just establishing that reality that we're both living in.
Jade, we're going to send you a copy of Doing Life with Your Adult Children to pass on to your friend. And for everyone else listening right now who's a Club New Life member and you're going through a similar situation, please join us tomorrow as Marc Cameron presents this talk that will definitely help you. It's called Forgiveness and Repair. That's happening for Club New Life members. And as I said earlier, if you're not a Club New Life member, you can become one by going to our website, newlife.com, or calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And if you're unable to become a Club New Life member at this time, we totally understand, but would you consider making a one-time gift, especially right now because we are in the middle of a matching gift challenge. Up to $475,000 will be matched, so whatever you can give will be doubled, even if you can only give a little bit. Somebody called in earlier this week and said, I can't do a whole lot, but whatever you can do will be doubled. So do that now at newlife.com/match. All right, right. God bless you guys. We'll see you at church this Sunday, and we'll be back with you on New Life Live on Monday.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Please join us again on Monday for New Life Live.